What's up, everyone? Thanks for stopping by. I really love Dead Space, and I just really wanted to talk about my thoughts. I beat this game, and I jumped straight into New Game Plus. I really enjoyed this game. I enjoyed it so much that, I jumped right back into the experience. This game is really hard to put down, and obviously, New Game Plus, your stuff carries over and you feel more powerful. But I really jumped back in just because I didn't get enough of the game. I was really immersed in this game, and I enjoyed it so much that I was like, I need to play some more of it. Dead Space does survival horror very good. I think even if you're not a fan of like horror, this game is worth checking out. I recommend it. I highly recommend it, actually. And I think that, you know, it just does what it set out to be so well. A dreadful, scary, terrifying experience. This game is going to have you on the edge of your seat, the moment to moment. Just the overall gameplay experience that I walked away with was really incredible, and it's some of the best here. Now, I didn't play it back in 2008, and I'm so glad that this game was remade because I got to appreciate, I got to experience it. I think they did a phenomenal job with remaking this game. I think the original still holds up from what I hear, but I'm judging it off of the remake. You can tell that they put a lot of time and passion and love into this. They did it really well. Like, they didn't half-ass it. It's polished. The graphics look great. The sound design, which we'll get into, is amazing. The overall experience was pretty solid in terms of quality. Now, the gameplay is really good in my opinion. You play as a character named Isaac. You're an engineer. You're on this spaceship called the Ishimura, and I think some of the horror elements to this game is some of the best that I've ever seen. And I've played games like Resident Evil, where you're going through a zombie apocalypse, and there's some pretty crazy and outrageous things that happen in Resident Evil, but this is like sci-fi space stuff, and I feel like the terrifying feeling of being on a spaceship, and like this spaceship is infected with monsters, and you're going around and you're trying to solve things, fix things, put things back together. There's a few characters that you interact with. There's this sense of dread that you feel. You're all alone, and you're kind of having to save the day, if you will. I think the sound design in this game is incredible, like absolutely incredible. I think it's one of the best parts about this game, that and the atmosphere. The sound design is just so good, especially if you're wearing a headset, which I highly recommend. I use the 3D Pulse audio, which really added to the immersion and the experience of the game. There's moments where you hear these whispers that Isaac hears, and it almost gives you that sense of, losing your mind on the spaceship out in space. The enemies sound amazing. Just some horrifying things. And the sound design, the music, it's all there. It all amplifies the experience. It's all done very well. The gameplay is really good. It's very satisfying. I think the gameplay is one of the reasons why I kind of jumped right back into New Game Plus. Obviously, I wanted to experience the game with a more powerful character. All your stuff is transferred over, and I maximized some of the weapons in the first game, and that carried over. I really like that. But it wasn't really the more powerful feeling that I wanted to come back to. It was more of just how good this game is and how good it delivers that overall experience that I wanted to return. I wanted to play it again. Um, Dead Space is just really good at doing the horror and the elements of feeling like you're alone, feeling like you're, uh, you know, feeling like you're vulnerable in this game, in this world. You know, you're wearing a spacesuit. You can, you know, obviously upgrade it, but it's still like there's this, you know, sense of real fear in this game with the enemies that you encounter and kind of the atmosphere and world design and design of just the game itself is truly terrifying. Like, there are moments in this game that are really terrifying. There are moments in this game that, especially with the headset, that scare the shit out of you and is done so well. The music and the atmosphere and the sound and the tension, like, it all just comes together and really delivers this really amazing horror experience, man. Like, I can't say that enough. It's one of the best that I've ever seen. You're going to be traveling throughout the spaceship and you're going to be kind of backtracking, unlocking doors, getting access to areas that you didn't have before. There's a shop in the game where you could buy ammo and health resources. You can buy these nodes where you can take to the bench and you can upgrade your equipment. There's currency that you find throughout the game, and that's where you spend in the shop. I think the game honestly was pretty challenging, especially the first time you're playing it, your first experience, your first playthrough. This game can be very challenging. It can be very overwhelming. I felt like there were moments in the game where I was running out of ammo. I needed health. And that obviously is by game design. This is a survival horror game. So you're going to feel like, you know, you got to make it to the next place. You're out of ammo. You're out of, you know, health. And oh, look, there's a shop. Like, I need to go spend some resources, some currency on resources, and, you know, get some ammo and move along. Like, it's a survival horror game, and I think that aspect of the game is something that may turn people off because it can be hard, it can be challenging, and the game doesn't really. It doesn't hold back, and I really love that. I really love that this game is not easy. It's challenging. I do want to mention Callisto Protocol because I feel like where that game left me kind of a little empty. I wanted a little bit more out of that game. I feel like where that game fell short in a lot of regards. Dead Space truly excelled in every possible way. Obviously, Callisto Protocol, you know, the maker went on to make that game. And, you know, it wasn't a bad game, but I felt like it really felt flat in some areas. Primarily the horror scariness of it and the gameplay felt janky. It just didn't click. There were some moments that I really enjoyed in that game, but overall I was left with wanting more. And Dead Space is the game that, like, if you really want that terrifying experience, a really solid, you know, horror experience, this is the game that you want to play. And I hate to compare the two, but, you know, naturally that's just the way it is. It really comes down to the gameplay, and where I felt like Callisto Protocol fell short, it's the gameplay that ultimately was just done very well here in Dead Space. There were some moments in Dead Space where I felt like, holy crap, like they did not pull any punches, they did not hold back. Like, there are some scary scenes in this game, and the scary elements are not like, you know, the cheap scare tactics where they you know, it gets you. Even though there are those sudden moments, it's really the things that are happening on the spaceship and the things that you're encountering, and the different type of monsters that just seem out of this world, terrifying. The story mixed in with it really does add to the experience of, like, there's something truly messed up here. Speaking a little bit more about the gameplay, I did like the fact that you were able to have the ability to kind of slow down enemies. You can use this kind of gravitational, ability where you can move things around. It adds a whole new dynamic to the gameplay, especially when you're overwhelmed. This game kind of gets crazier and crazier as you play. Especially to the middle, to the end of the game where you're getting swarmed by enemies. There's this part in the game where there's a task force that has come to kind of rescue you, but they get infected. The enemies they were once soldiers, but they have the ability to kind of move around quickly. So the monsters now move around super quickly because they were once soldiers. And this was like super terrifying, and the fear of like fighting these guys because they're so fast, they come at you really, relentlessly. That was so crazy, and I really love that. There's moments where you're getting into, zero gravity, and your suit kind of has the ability to kind of propel you to areas, and you got the little boosts, the thrusters. I like those elements. Again, you're fixing things, you're repairing things in the game, and you have to do those things in zero gravity. There's some pretty crazy boss fights in this game that, again, are very terrifying and super horror-y. There's an enemy in the game where he pretty much keeps regenerating, and he kind of haunts you down, and that's terrifying because you can't truly kill him. You kind of have to freeze him, run around. Some of the boss fights have some unique mechanics and how you kind of take them down. But overall, I just kind of walked away with a solid experience. And like I said before, I think, I truly recommend this game, even if you're not a fan of the survival horror genre, just because this game does what it set out to be so well. And if you're, if you don't want to drop the $70, maybe wait for a sale and pick it up, sometime down the road. But man, did I really love this game. And if you follow me on Twitter, you know that I was kind of all over this game. It's getting some amazing reviews. People are really enjoying it, and it's really the foundation of the original that they were able to take and remake. The original game was obviously so good that they were able to remake it and enhance the graphics and the visuals and the sound and all that stuff. But overall, I really enjoy this game. I recommend it, and you should definitely check out Dead Space. Play this game. If you got any questions, if you got any things to say, put it down in the comment section on the bottom. If you enjoyed this video, hit it a like. Consider subscribing. I'm going to try to do some more reviews, impressions, and thoughts. I'm going to try to do one for every game this year, and really try to do some content creation again. But that's all. I appreciate you guys if you've been listening, and take it easy. Have a good one.
power reroute from the electrical systems.
Just watch the outlets. The grid's unstable.
That's 2. One more system and we'll have power for the ADS.
Isaac, I cracked the Ishimura's MedSci reports. They're a fucking horror show. These things mold any dead tissue into a new form. One kind infects corpses, and the rest...
Make more corpses to infect.
That organic shit on the walls, that's dead tissue too. The crew thought it was a habitat changer. Isaac,